Hey now, everyone, it's time to break down that amazing finale of Ahsoka. Or was it amazing? I guess it depends on you, but I enjoyed it. But first, we got a spoiler warning, okay? We get that out of the way? Alright, let's get into the review. First and foremost, I really thought it was a good finale, even though it didn't quite feel like a season finale. You know, we got plenty of cliffhangers, that's for sure. But something just felt lacking in terms of what us humans have come to expect in a season finale for a TV series. But in the end, I kind of like that it didn't feel like a finale. I like that I was a bit surprised with where some of the narrative threads ended up. Obviously, we all knew the Thrawn stuff was going to happen. I mean, but what was the point of telling this tale if he was not going to get a victory and return back to the known galaxy? But what did surprise me, and what is exciting to think about the potential of Ahsoka Season 2, is the fact that we did leave so many main characters in Peridia. Their stories are not over. They clearly need some further exposition here, especially with Baylan. What's he doing? The Mortal Gods! Oh my goodness, it was lovely. Shin taking over the Tusken Samurai camp, and then obviously Ahsoka and Sabine coming much more of a tighter unit as master and apprentice. So much to cover, but like I said, it was a really good finale. It felt nice and tight. We had some narrative resolution. Most importantly with Thrawn, with Ezra, and, you know, over-encompassing plot-wise, the return of Thrawn and what that means for the Mandoverse moving forward. So I really think the finale did a great job at setting things up and leaving us fans kind of wanting more and more and more and more. I also found the action to be the highlight of the episode. I mean, the episode was pretty fast-paced, even though we had a decent runtime. Everything moved quickly thanks to all the action beats, and I really feel like the excellent action kicked off with the charge of the Howlers. You know, we had our Jedis on those Howler dogs making their charge towards the Night Sister Castle. Thrawn with his... You know, again, we can argue with his ability to aim with this Chimera, but come on, people. Like the good guys were going to get blown up that way. Those of you upset that Thrawn didn't kill him with an orbital bombardment, you just have not been watching TV. Good guys win, okay? Get over it. But I love the action. The lightsaber battle between Ahsoka and Morgan, maybe one of the most acrobatic, one of the most samurai-esque feeling to date in Star Wars. Loved Ezra and Sabine and what they were doing with the Death Troopers. Was it pick and waffle? Who knows? Just really great action all the way up until the end. I also appreciate the deeper looks into live-action Night Sisters. I mean, we got to check out that ceremony where... Morgan was essentially inducted into the sisterhood, and also we got some good lore moments from Ezra building his saber, and then holy heck, the stuff with Baylan, the statues he's standing on. I know, I sound like an idiot. I said they would never approach the Morta stuff in live action, but here we are, and I think they're doing it the right way, and I'll talk more about that on the Star Wars Time Show. Check us out. Give us a sub. So, you know, and those of you that have not been enjoying Thrawn, I still feel like in this finale, he was correct. He was Thrawn. He did get a victory. We did strand Ahsoka and Sabine in an unknown galaxy with no known method of getting home. So I do think that's a huge victory. And the Force only knows, dark magic only knows what's going on with him, the mothers, Dathomir, and all of those caskets. So I still feel like even though, yeah, hey, he only sent 2 TIE fighters and they only disabled the ship, he still felt like Thrawn. Okay, so let's get over that. Enjoyed him. I also really appreciated Sabine's growth in this episode. You could see the whole season of setup for her finally came full circle. She became one with the Force. We learned why Ahsoka stopped training her. But we also saw her make unselfish decisions, unlike she made earlier in the season. So it does really feel like Sabine is on a whole new path and acceptance of her journey with the Force. So that was huge as well. Hopefully explored in a second season. You know, I did expect the lack of Baylan and Shin's story progress. But man, I am fearful of what we got in this finale and what's to come. And I'm not fearful because it was bad. I understand why Baylan and Shin were mostly ignored in the finale. I mean, that Dave was planning for a season 2. I mean, that's so evident now. What I'm fearful of, it's what I call the sequel trilogy effect with Carrie Fisher and her character Princess Leia. She passed in between movies. She was supposed to have a big role in The Rise of Skywalker, and due to her passing, that film was fundamentally changed. And now you have to wonder, are we going to get something similar with Ahsoka Season 2 or Dave's continuation of the Mandoverse and these characters? Do they recast Rey? Do they re-edit? Do they try to use unused footage to salvage something? It's very worrisome. And you know, it's sad. Rey died in real life. It sucks. But here we are, clearly with a lot left to be told about his journey. The gods of Mortis, what is he doing? And it's kind of like I speculated earlier, a few episodes back, that it does seem like he wants to snuff out the Force or kind of take control of the Force himself, and that was just kind of reiterated with the end. So there's a lot left to explore, and I'm fearful of how that's going to be done, knowing what happened to the amazing Ray Stevenson in real life. But yeah, so that's exciting, even if we didn't get much in Baylan and Shin's journey. You know, what are we going to get next? I'm always down for that. So yeah, this finale, while it didn't necessarily feel like a finale, it scratched many itches, and it was pretty great. I mean, I think it left a lot of us a bit surprised, which you can't complain about. The only problem now is, how do we handle the Rey stuff? That's the only concern I have. I love what we're looking at. I love Ahsoka and Sabine stuck on Peridia with Mortis God potential, Morai, all that. And I also love that Ezra is back, and now we have Thrawn back in the known galaxy. How's the New Republic going to react now? Is Hera going to teabag Xiono? You know, look, he is here, eat it, stuff like that. So really enjoyed the episode. Just hope we get a second season, and I'm very intrigued to see how they're going to handle Rey's passing. All right, so let's get into some top moments, and there was plenty, starting with the Shadow Ceremony. Like I said earlier, I just really liked getting all this live-action Night Sister lore front and center. It was cool to see Morgan kind of go through her Night Sister baptism, and then obviously get the Blade of Talzin. Just all cool stuff. Next up, I really enjoyed the Ezra lightsaber building scene with Huyang and, you know, a little bit of Sabine in there. Plus, that was the first time we saw a lightsaber being built on screen. Yes, I know about the deleted scene from Jedi, but it was deleted, not shown, so this is the first. But it was just cool stuff. Again, great lore, as this season has been giving us. Obviously, the Howler charge right into the trooper battle, into the true Death Troopers, not the Death Troopers. True fans, you know what I'm talking about. Check out the novel. I'll talk about it in my Easter egg breakdown. But then we had the Ahsoka and Morgan fight. Beautiful, acrobatic. You could really see Diana Lee Inosanto and her heritage in that fight. I mean, she is related to Bruce Lee, and it is clear she fights with a grace that is unrivaled. So I loved that entire fight all the way up to the kill shot. And then Ezra and Sabine battling the Death Troopers. Was it pick and waffle? I don't know. I mean, that's the fun stuff to think about. We can argue it is. They were part of Thrawn's guard as Death Troopers. But it just, you know, Sabine using the Force, kind of tapping into the iconic Force user, reaching out for their lightsaber mood. We saw Luke do it. We've seen Rey do it. Just awesome stuff there. And really, another moment, Thrawn wins. I love that kind of speech he gave on the bridge of the Eye of Sion. Like, hey, listen, I respect you because I knew Anakin, but are you going to become like him? I kind of like that he was hinting at, like, hey, I knew him and I knew who he became. And trying to get in Ahsoka's mind. But clearly, she's the white. She's locked down. She did not care. Another top moment, Ezra getting home. I do think it was weird that we didn't get the hug between Hera and Ezra, and it just kind of wiped away. But it was still a cool moment. Very Star Wars Rebels correct. I mean, Ezra donning Stormtrooper gear, that's something he's always done. Kind of playing around, coming out in it. He could have changed, but he's, you know, that's Ezra. But I do think him and Ezra, we should have saw the embrace there. And then finally, you had to appreciate the return of Anakin. So for all of you who are like, I don't know if that was Force Ghost Anakin, blah, blah, blah. Well, here you go. It's as plain as day. The dude is in his Force Ghost form. And I'm glad they fixed his robes. He should most definitely have his ROTS robes on, and not that white crap that we saw when he was jammed in at the end of Return of the Jedi. All right, so to wrap things up, we'll go through some of the eggs and references, and really the finale was kind of loaded, starting with Thrawn mentioning that he was beaten by a lone Jedi. That's the Ezra moment that we all know from Rebels, but some of you new people have heard about a bit in this season. How about the Blade of Talzin? I mean, I don't know if that's actually related to Mother Talzin from the Clone Wars, but we would like to think so. And then just obviously all the shadow magic, kind of the zombie resurrections, all very Night Sister-esque from past content we've seen in the Clone Wars. I really love this. I mean, the fact that Hu Yang went into the little ditty on Caleb, a.k.a. Kanan Jarrus, and how he was the only one to have this particular type of emitter, and now Ezra has it. That's the cherry on top type of stuff that Dave gives us. I also liked, and I need to bring this up, but I'm pretty sure when Ahsoka's talking to Sabine about how Anakin always stood by her no matter what, she's 100% talking about her trial with the Jedi Order because, Barriss set her up in the Clone Wars. Go back and check all that out. It's great. Then we got actual Night Sister zombie action, which we saw in the Clone Wars when they resurrected their own kind to fight Dooku and Grievous. Now we got to see it with stormtroopers becoming actual Death Troopers. Yes, not the Death Troopers from Rogue One, but the Death Troopers that were featured in this novel, where they actually were zombified stormtroopers. So that's a direct nod to that. And of course, the Death Troopers, who, we could speculate are pick and waffle from the Thrawn novels. I don't know if anyone else caught this, but how did you like that vintage stormtrooper door blast we got in that castle there? I mean, that is so original trilogy, it's not even funny. I mentioned it earlier, but we'll go a little bit more into it. I really dug that we got the revelation that, Thrawn knows Anakin, but also knows who Anakin became. He tried to use it against Ahsoka. Don't think it worked. And geez, the Mortis gods. I know I've gone blue in the face saying, hey, we're never going to explore Mortis and that in live action. But hey, I can admit when I was wrong. I still don't think it's much related to Anakin's Force Ghost and what we saw in this season. But clearly, Dave has plans to fully delve into the gods of Mortis, the Mortis gods, all that fun stuff via Baylan and leaving Ahsoka and Sabine on Peridia. So that's exciting. How are we gonna deal with the Baylan stuff? It's like a recast. That's the only way. Am I right? Am I right? All right, but anyways, Mortis gods here. We got the father, we got the son, and curiously, the daughter's head is missing, and there's a bit of a gap. Why is that? Is this planet out of balance? And I think the Night Sisters kind of worship the sun and whatnot. So, is this why they're getting out of here? Is there something sinister still on this planet that Baylan doesn't know about, and he is going to unlock? I've been seeing a lot of Abeloth speculation out there, and it is sounding more and more like it could be what is known as the Mother was possibly imprisoned on Peridia here, and Baylan is hearing that, but he thinks he's going to go do something righteous when he's really going to unleash hell upon the galaxy, because from what I know about Abeloth and her being the Mother, she just likes chaos and death, and that's why she was kind of banished, locked up by the father, the son, and the daughter. So some deep stuff there, and who knows where it goes and how much Rey's passing will affect it. But clearly, Mortis gods canonized now in live action. We even got a very similar shot of Baylan looking at this light on a mountain peak, just like Anakin saw in the Mortis arc in the Clone Wars. So is he going to try and destroy the Force? Is this the birthplace of the Force? Is he going to go try and interact with the Mortis gods and get them to change something? Who knows? All fun stuff to think about. Please give us Season 2. Please treat Baylan's quest appropriately. Okay, continuing on here, a great little egg. There's Morai the Owl, tied to the Mortis stuff, tied to Ahsoka and the daughter, and Ahsoka being resurrected thanks to the daughter's sacrifice. So all this stuff is important and very intriguing. And to kind of wrap things up, the last two here, we get the Dathomir in live action. Yay. What are they doing there? That's going to be exciting. Are they just going to reseed the planet? Or do Thrawn and the sisters have more nefarious designs for the resettling of Dathomir? And then obviously, one more time, Force Ghost Anakin in the correct garb. He's real. He's not the father, at least not yet. Who knows? Maybe that'll be explored in Season 2 if we get it. But yeah, that wraps it up. So thanks, everyone. Hopefully you've enjoyed these new types of breakdowns, reviews, whatever you want to call them, from the SWTS. They've been enjoyable, although a bit long. You can always tune in to our weekly Star Wars podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it, usually Tuesdays, Wednesdays, 5 p. East on YouTube, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. Don't forget, there's always time for Star Wars Time, and if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.